right now. I mean, literally as we were sitting here, an AI is out there passing the bar exam.
Right. Or, diagnosing rare medical conditions from x-rays.
Exactly. Or it's writing a perfectly structured college-level essay on the fall of the Roman Empire.
Yeah, it's wild. It feels like magic sometimes.
It totally does. But, behind the curtain of these seemingly omnipotent supercomputers is a very different reality.
Oh, yeah. Completely different.
It's a freelancer sitting on their couch in sweatpants, consulting an 80-page PDF manual just to tell that same artificial intelligence that it completely botched a basic math problem.
It is probably the great paradox of the tech industry right now. I mean, the most advanced computational systems in human history are entirely dependent on millions of invisible human gig workers just evaluating their every move.
And if you've been following our recent videos, we've spent a lot of time preparing you for exactly this kind of environment.
Yeah, we talked extensively about the micro1 webcam interviews, for example.
Right. We covered the anxiety of just sitting there with a little red recording light glowing, talking to an AI interviewer.
Yeah, trying to act totally natural while essentially auditioning for an algorithm.
Exactly. We went over, how to explain your reasoning, how to answer the technical questions, and just how to stay calm.
But passing that interview is really just opening the front door.
Right. Today, we are finally walking through that door to look at the massive, sprawling factory floor inside.
Because honestly, micro1 is just one node in a much larger ecosystem.
Right. There's so many of these platforms now.
Oh, tons. When you look at platforms like Mercor, Outlier, DataAnnotation, Alignerr, TELUS, or Appen, they might look completely different on the surface.
Yeah, some market themselves as these elite talent networks, while others look like, straightforward testing platforms.
And some just seem like traditional data entry sites. But if you strip away all the branding, they are all executing the exact same overarching mission.
Which is what exactly?
Yeah, they are facilitating the massive deployment of human judgment to improve and constrain AI systems.
So the goal today is to pull back the curtain on this entire remote AI evaluation industry.
Yeah, to really look at the whole picture.
If you are considering doing this work, or if you're already doing it and wondering why the systems operate the way they do, we want to give you the comprehensive 10,000-foot view.
We're going to break down what these jobs actually entail on a daily basis.
Right. Who they are really for and the unfiltered reality of the pros and cons.
To do that properly, though, we really have to move past the introductory explanations.
Yeah, assume we all know the basics.
Right. If you are familiar with the micro1 interviews, you already know this isn't about writing code to build a neural network from scratch.
Definitely not.
Most of this work falls under a specific methodology called reinforcement learning from human feedback, or RLHF.
Okay, wait. RLHF. If Claude and Gemini and ChatGPT are already writing sophisticated code and passing medical boards, why do they still need us babysitting them?
That's a great question.
I mean, shouldn't these models be capable of grading their own work by now? It seems incredibly inefficient to rely on humans reading responses one by one.
It sounds super inefficient, yeah. But it is currently the only reliable way to bridge the gap between statistical probability and actual factual reality.
Statistical probability.
Yeah, we have to understand what these large language models are actually doing. They don't, know things the way humans do.
Right. They don't have a brain.
Exactly. They are just predicting the next most mathematically probable token.
A token being like a piece of a word.
Right. Based on the billions of pages of text they ingested during their initial training.
So it's basically brilliant pattern matching, like advanced predictive text on your phone.
Yes, exactly like that, but on a massive scale. But pattern matching doesn't possess critical thinking.
That makes sense.
There is a huge difference between generating a statistically likely string of text and actually understanding what we call ground truth.
And ground truth is the actual verifiable fact of the matter, regardless of how well written a sentence is.
Exactly the distinction. Let's say an AI drafts a legal memo.
Okay.
It generates a document that sounds incredibly professional. The grammar is flawless. It even cites real existing court cases.
So it looks totally legit.
Right. To an automated grading system, that looks like a perfect output. But it might completely misapply the legal precedent from those real cases to the current problem.
Oh, wow. So it's confident but wrong.
Yes. It created a convincing illusion of legal analysis, without a human being applying genuine critical thinking to catch that subtle logical gap. The AI system's quality degrades.
But I mean, how does a human catching that mistake actually make the AI smarter? I think this is the missing piece for a lot of people.
It's a bit abstract.
You sit there, you click a button saying the AI's legal memo was bad, but how does that translate into the neural network improving?
This is where the underlying mechanism of RLHF gets really fascinating.
Okay, lay it on me.
When you are working on these platforms, you aren't just fixing a typo or leaving a comment for a developer to read later. You are feeding a reward model.
A reward model. Let's unpack that.
Think of the reward model as a second, completely separate AI. And its entire job is to learn human preferences.
Wait, so an AI evaluating an AI?
Kind of. When you evaluate two AI responses and write a detailed justification for why response A is better than response B, that data goes into the reward model. You are teaching this second AI how to mimic human judgment.
I see.
Then the developers unleash that reward model onto the primary AI.
Wow.
The reward model acts like an automated trainer. It mathematically rewards the primary AI when it generates responses that align with human preferences.
And mathematically penalizes it when it generates hallucinations or bad logic.
Precisely.
So our human judgment is basically being distilled into a mathematical formula that scales across millions of future AI interactions.
That's exactly what's happening.
That's a massive responsibility, which makes me really curious about the daily reality of this work.
Yeah, it can be pretty intense.
Like, what does it actually look like when you log into a platform like Outlier or DataAnnotation on a random Tuesday morning? The taxonomy of tasks here must be huge.
Oh, it is incredibly varied. The most common format is AI response evaluation, which is usually comparing two different AI answers side by side.
Right, the classic A versus B.
Yeah. But there is also traditional data annotation, rating the helpfulness of search engine results, evaluating the quality of prompts.
Oh, like reviewing the natural flow of back and forth conversations.
Exactly. And completing highly specific writing, math, or coding tasks.
Let's get into the weeds here. Let's walk through a concrete example of that side-by-side comparison, because I want to understand the friction involved.
Sure, let's do it.
Imagine I log in, I accept a task, and I'm presented with a prompt that a user gave to the AI. Let's say the prompt is, write a concise explanation of compound interest for a beginner.
Okay, so that's a seemingly simple constraint, but one that tests multiple facets of the AI's capability.
Right, so I look at response A. It's short, maybe 2 sentences.
What does it say?
It says, interest is the money a bank pays you for keeping your money with them. It helps your savings grow over time.
Okay, so that is concise, and it's definitely suitable for a beginner.
But it completely misses the word compound. It just defined basic interest.
Exactly. It failed the core factual requirement of the prompt.
Right, so you look at response B, and response B gives a completely correct, highly comprehensive explanation of how compound interest means your accumulated interest begins earning its own interest.
Looks good so far.
However, the response spans 4 dense paragraphs and includes the complex mathematical formula, A equals P times 1 plus R over N to the power of NT.
Oh boy. Yeah, so response A is factually incomplete, but response B totally ignored the user's explicit constraints.
Yeah, it is neither concise nor appropriate for a beginner.
Right. This isn't a simple right or wrong answer. There's real friction here.
And this is where the cognitive load of the job hits you.
Absolutely. Because as the reviewer, your job is to compare the two and write a structured explanation of which one followed the instructions better.
You have to objectively justify your choice using the platform's specific guidelines.
Right. You might decide to select response B because factual accuracy usually overrides formatting.
Okay, so response B wins.
But in your written justification, you have to heavily penalize it.
So I can't just type, response B was better but a bit too long.
Oh, definitely not. No, a comment like that will get you flagged by the platform's quality assurance team immediately.
Wow, okay. So what do you write?
You have to write something detailed like, Response B successfully explained the core mechanism of compound interest, making it factually superior to Response A, which only explained simple interest.
That makes sense.
However, Response B severely violated the negative constraints of the prompt. By including the complex exponential formula and spanning 4 paragraphs, it failed both the concise and beginner directives.
Geez. You are basically grading an essay against a highly specific rubric, and your justification has to be bulletproof.
Yep, you have to point to the exact lines in the text and objectively defend your grade.
And the crazy part is, depending on the platform and the specific project, the rubrics you are grading against can be 20, 50, or even 80 pages long.
which introduces a whole new level of complexity.
I can't even imagine.
I mean, what happens when page 14 of the guideline document says, prioritize user safety above all else, but page 62 says, do not refuse to answer harmless hypothetical questions?
Oh, wow.
The subjective messiness of RLHF is that human reviewers often have to interpret conflicting guidelines and make a judgment call.
So if the rubric is 80 pages long and involves that level of critical thinking, you can't just hand this work to anyone off the street.
Not at all.
You need people who actually understand the domain they are evaluating.
Exactly. Which brings us to the wide spectrum of work available and the massive shift happening in the industry right now.
Between entry-level tasks and specialized tasks, right?
Yes. Let's look at the entry-level side first.
Oh.
This involves general data annotation, search quality rating for platforms like Appen or TELUS, and basic response comparison.
Like the compound interest one.
Right. To succeed here, you don't need advanced degrees, but you do need an incredibly high level of reading comprehension, extreme attention to detail, and the ability to be brutally consistent over hours of work.
Right. If you're evaluating search engine results, you have to understand cultural context, linguistic nuance, and user intent.
Oh, completely.
If someone searches for Apple, are they looking for the fruit, the tech company, or the bank?
Yeah, you have to apply the platform's rules consistently, task after task, without losing focus.
But the industry is rapidly shifting away from that generalist model, isn't it?
It really is. We are seeing a massive transition from what they call human in the loop, which relies on high volumes of repetitive basic tasks,
Right.
to expert in the loop.
Expert in the loop, meaning they need actual domain-specific professionals reviewing the outputs.
Yes, they are actively hunting for software engineers, mathematicians, lawyers, doctors, registered nurses, and finance professionals.
Wow, really?
Yeah, because as the AI models attempt expert-level tasks, you need an actual expert to verify the output.
Because having a generalist evaluate whether a piece of Python code is fully optimized is like asking a copy editor to review an astrophysics paper.
That is the perfect way to visualize it.
The copy editor can tell you that the grammar is flawless, the punctuation is perfect, and the formatting looks beautiful.
Sure.
But they have absolutely no idea that the underlying math is going to crash the spaceship.
Exactly. A smart generalist might review an AI-generated legal contract and see that it has all the standard headers, the whereas clauses, and the signature blocks.
It looks like a contract.
Right. But an actual corporate lawyer will spot that the indemnification clause is dangerously ambiguous.
And it would immediately fail in a real courtroom.
Exactly. So the domain expert is valuable because they can spot when an AI sounds perfectly plausible but is actually dangerously wrong in the real world.
It's not about watering down your professional knowledge to click a few buttons. It's about exercising the exact same rigorous judgment you use in your day job, just applied to an algorithm's output.
And because that specialized judgment is so crucial for the next generation of models, platforms like DataAnnotation, Outlier, and Alignerr are aggressively recruiting people with advanced degrees and years of professional experience.
And I'm assuming they are compensating them at a much higher rate for that expertise.
Oh, absolutely. The hourly rates scale heavily with your domain knowledge.
Okay, so I'm looking at the forums for these platforms, and there are people claiming they are replacing their full-time salaries from their couches.
Yeah, you see those posts all the time.
I have to imagine there's a catch. We need to do an honest reality check about the pros and the cons of this industry, because we do not want to paint this as some magical remote work utopia.
No, definitely not.
What is the actual reality of relying on these platforms?
Well, let's start with the genuine upside, because the pros are very real.
Okay.
First and foremost, it offers remote work and highly flexible schedules. On most platforms, you log in when you want, you work for as long as you want, and you log out.
Which is incredible if you are balancing caregiving, a university schedule, or another full-time job.
It really is. It is also a fantastic low-barrier entry point into the AI sector.
Right.
It directly rewards people with strong writing, reasoning, math, coding, or analytical skills. You don't have to spend months networking your way into a Silicon Valley tech company.
Your skills literally speak for themselves on the initial assessments.
It is a true meritocracy in that sense.
Right.
But the practical, honest cons are significant, and they often catch beginners completely off guard.
So what's the biggest issue?
The absolute biggest downside is that task availability can be wildly unstable.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you will experience waves where your dashboard is flooded with abundant, high-paying work. And that's followed immediately by complete dry spells where your dashboard is just empty for weeks.
The ultimate gig economy feast or famine.
Exactly. Additionally, the qualification tests to get onto these platforms are often really rigorous. They can take several hours to complete.
And are they paid?
No, they are almost always unpaid. And not everyone who applies gets accepted.
Right.
In fact, a huge percentage of people apply, spend hours on the test, and simply never hear back. Ghosting is a systemic, well-documented issue across this entire industry.
Wow. So let me put myself in the listener's shoes.
Okay.
You mean to tell me I can spend 3 hours meticulously passing an unpaid assessment, do everything exactly right, get an acceptance email, and still log in on a Thursday morning to find absolutely zero tasks available?
Yes, that happens all the time.
Or worse, I could work for a month, build up a great routine, and then suddenly have my account paused or empty without any explanation.
Yeah.
Just because an anonymous reviewer disagreed with how I rated an AI's tone on a specific project.
That is the exact unvarnished reality of the space.
That's brutal.
Your income is completely variable. You are an independent contractor, not a W-2 employee.
Right.
You are only paid for the time you are actively working on an available task. And that availability is dictated entirely by the needs of the AI companies at any given moment.
So this requires genuine mental effort and adaptability. This is absolutely not a get-rich-quick scheme.
No, it really isn't.
It's flexible income, but it comes with a massive amount of friction.
Yes.
You have to be comfortable navigating opaque platform dashboards, dealing with intermittent server errors, and accepting the fact that you might submit a support ticket and not get a response for 2 weeks.
Which is exactly why the most successful freelancers in this space treat it as portfolio work.
What do you mean by that?
They don't rely on just one platform. They will pass the assessments and maintain active accounts on DataAnnotation, Outlier, Mercor, and Alignerr simultaneously.
Oh. I see.
If Outlier is experiencing a dry spell, they pivot to DataAnnotation for the week. They build their own stability by diversifying.
That makes total sense. Okay, so if you're listening to this and you're thinking, I have the critical thinking skills, I can handle the feast or famine nature, and I want to give this a genuine shot, let's build the playbook.
All right, let's do it.
How can beginners actually prepare and succeed on these platforms?
The first and arguably most critical piece of advice: improve your English writing and grammar.
Really? Even for the math or coding ones?
Yes, in almost all of these roles, even the coding and math roles, your written explanations are your actual product.
Right, because of the reward model.
Exactly. You aren't just clicking multiple choice boxes. You are writing the justifications that feed the model.
So if your writing is unclear or poorly structured or riddled with typos,
the platform's quality assurance team will flag you, and you will not pass the initial assessments.
Okay, so your writing has to be clear, structured, and strictly logical.
Yes.
Second piece of the playbook.
Yes.
Practice explaining your reasoning clearly and objectively.
Oh, this is huge.
You have to learn to compare two answers without letting your personal biases or opinions interfere.
This is a massive stumbling block for many people. Let's say the prompt asks the AI to write a persuasive argument for a specific economic policy that you personally completely disagree with. Your job as a reviewer is not to judge the economic policy itself. Your job is to judge how effectively the AI followed the instruction to write a persuasive argument.
You have to separate your personal worldview from the structural constraints of the prompt.
Exactly.
And that level of objectivity takes real practice.
It does. Third on our checklist, read the instructions carefully.
That sounds incredibly obvious.
It does, but it is the #1 reason intelligent people fail these assessments. Most applicants fail because they skim the project guidelines.
Oh, I can see that happening.
If a platform gives you a 40-page document on how to rate a specific type of coding response, you need to read every single page. Treat it like an open book exam.
You cannot just wing it based on your gut intuition.
No, because the AI companies spend millions of dollars developing those rubrics. They want you to apply their specific framework consistently.
Okay, fourth step. Prepare a simple, clear resume.
Yes. Even if you are applying for generalist tasks, make sure to explicitly highlight any domain knowledge you have.
Like what?
Are you a certified accountant, a high school chemistry teacher, a former paralegal? Put that front and center.
Because that domain expertise is exactly what platforms use to route you toward the higher-paying, specialized projects.
Precisely. Do not hide your real-world experience.
Good to know. And finally, the fifth step of the playbook. Focus relentlessly on quality, not speed.
This is so important.
When you finally get onto a platform and see an hourly rate attached to your time, it can be incredibly tempting to rush through tasks to maximize your daily payout.
But the platforms monitor your quality metrics constantly behind the scenes.
Really, like a hidden score.
Yeah. Rushing through tasks, providing shallow justifications, or missing subtle constraints will ruin your internal quality score.
And a low quality score is the fastest way to get quietly removed from active projects and find yourself staring at an empty dashboard.
Exactly. Precision, thoughtfulness, and consistency are what unlock the better paying, steady work over the long term.
So take your time. Prove you are a reliable calibrator of ground truth, and the system will eventually reward you with more complex tasks.
That's the way to do it.
So what does this all mean when we step back and look at the bigger picture?
Well,
Working for these platforms, whether you are doing a micro1 interview today or evaluating data on Outlier tomorrow, it isn't just about clicking buttons to earn extra cash from your living room.
no, not at all.
It is about being the critical human guardrail for the next generation of artificial intelligence.
It truly is a unique moment in the history of technology. We are building systems of unprecedented power, but they are still fundamentally blind to the nuances of the human experience.
And the real-world consequences of their outputs.
Exactly. By evaluating their responses, correcting their broken logic, and enforcing strict constraints, these human gig workers are literally shaping the behavioral DNA of these systems.
Systems that will soon be integrated into our hospitals, our legal workflows, and our daily lives.
It's massive.
It's a fascinating, highly imperfect industry, and it is evolving by the week.
It really is.
This has been the overarching view of the landscape,
Right.
but we aren't stopping here.
No, we have a lot more to cover.
Now that we understand the mechanics of RLHF and the reality of the work, future explorations of this material are going to look much more closely at the specific platforms themselves.
Yeah, we'll examine the specific quirks of how micro1 structures its talent pool, for example,
And the unique onboarding processes for Mercor and Outlier.
and how project dashboards actually function inside data annotation.
There is a massive amount of nuance to uncover within each specific company's ecosystem.
But before we wrap up today's analysis, I want to leave you with a final, slightly provocative thought to ponder.
Oh, I like those. What is it?
If you consider the rapid trajectory of this technology, as these AI models continue to ingest billions of data points of human feedback, and as they learn from top-tier, highly specialized human experts,
Right.
will they eventually internalize that judgment so completely that they outgrow the need for our feedback entirely? Or, as the AI becomes capable of handling all the basic and intermediate tasks flawlessly on its own, will the demand for a hyper-specialized, edge-case human judgment only become more intense?
Will we teach the machine so well that it simply doesn't need our rubrics anymore? Or will the questions we ask it just get exponentially harder, requiring even smarter humans to grade the answers?
It's a profound question about the future of human labor.
Keep that in mind the next time you see an AI generate a seemingly perfect, instantly delivered answer. Until next time, keep questioning the outputs.